called SIFC, where investments are facilitated and all stakeholders are sitting together to debate and make sure that the investment projects are attracted and they are insured. At the same time, agriculture, there is a big focus. Currently our yields are very low. IT, as I mentioned, there's a big focus on increasing the supply of labor. The IT ministry is already working on changing the curriculum and creating more and more co-working spaces and more people in the IT industry. Mining, we are already working on changing the policy framework. That's a sector which falls under my responsibilities today, and we are working with the provinces on harmonizing the legal and the policy framework. Exploration, we have already announced interest from bidders for the onshore exploration, and we are now going for the offshore exploration. Energy, on one hand we have excess generation capacity, but on the other hand Pakistan is still one of the lowest consumers and users of energy per capita, on energy per capita basis. Compared to Korea and a number of other countries in the region, our energy consumption per capita is very, very low, and a number of regions in the country are still off grid or are on weak grid. So there's tremendous potential over there for investment. Manufacturing, our base is still low, as we all know. Trade is still a small percentage of GDP. So there's tremendous potential across the board. Whichever sector we look at, the potential is there because of the policy shifts and the young population which is entering the workforce. Recently, we have seen success on a number of fronts. As you all know, the currency has appreciated. Pakistani rupee has been appreciating against dollar, and it has stabilized. There has been crackdown on the illegal trading, on the smuggling, and we at the Energy Ministry have initiated a massive crackdown on the theft and lack of recovery. So the mindset, the reform mindset, and not tolerating the wrongs which were tolerated in the past is the big shift which is happening in the country. Now, talking about the energy sector, what does the reform process mean for the Korean companies? On the generation, we will be expanding on the renewable side. There's tremendous potential for solar, wind and hydro. Besides solar, wind and hydro, there are other technologies which are being introduced in the world which are not introduced in Pakistan. We are looking at that also. Recently we have advertised and we have asked for bids for a 600 megawatt solar project. And the December is the deadline, and we hope that Korean companies will look at it and they will participate in that. We are also changing the governance structure across the energy chain. We are working on transferring DISCOs, the distribution companies, to the private sector under long-term concession. There's an opportunity over there for the Korean companies. Korean companies are already familiar with our distribution network because they're working on implementing smart meters and other infrastructure in the distribution sector. The transmission sector is going through major revamp, and we will be attracting a lot of investments in the transmission sector. So overall, on the power side, there are a number of opportunities, and the reason I'm highlighting this, there are two reasons. Number one, that is the sector which falls under my responsibility, and number two, the Korean companies are already looking at it. Another big opportunity which Pakistan is now offering is on the exploration front. Over the last 10 years, the exploration activities were minimal, and there were very few companies which are operating in that. As I mentioned, we have already started working on the onshore side, and now the offshore blocks will be offered. So that's where the big opportunity is. And Pakistan will be looking at pipelines, gas pipelines and storage facilities. So going forward, I believe there are a number of opportunities where Korean companies can participate with us. And the need of the hour is for us, the government and the embassy to coordinate, to work closely together and to get more and more Korean companies to come to Pakistan, and to let and facilitate the Pakistani companies to go to Korea, be it for learning, for technology, for joint ventures or for operations. So this 40 years of celebration, let's make it the beginning of a growth phase, of a high growth phase for the two countries, and let's strengthen the bond between the two countries a lot more than what we have seen in the past. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.